Hey everybody! We are living in really strange times. Many of you kind of have heard that because of issues related to supply access, I can't assume that my other art classes can make any art. For example, in my ceramic class, I can't assume you have ceramic clay at home. So those classes are going to be looking a little bit different, a little bit more online based. But if you are someone who does have access to art supplies at home and you really do want to make art kind of during this time away from school for credit, a workaround that I've kind of developed is something called Art Club. And what we can do is basically, I'm going to give you a weekly prompt, just like Inktober. If any of you have ever done Inktober, it'll be a very open ended prompt. And you'll have the week to generate a really interesting, creative response using any material you have at home. So it could be a drawing if you only have pencil and paper, if you have markers, paint, clay, sculptural items. It just has to address the prompt in some way. And you have to be able to get me an image of it. That is the other piece. So if you can take a picture of it on your cell phone, email me that picture, or you're going to see on Google Classroom there's a presentation set up for you to insert your images in so that I can assess that you address the prompt. There's going to be about, I think, 7 or 8 prompts. For as long as we're in school, you'll get a prompt each week. And by the end of the quarter, I'll assess the prompts and you can earn an elective credit, 0.25 elective credit. So if you're interested in, you have art materials at home, you do want to make some art with this time away from school, and you have the ability to get me the images, you definitely can participate in Art Club. So all you need to do is enroll in the Google Classroom. I'll be posting the prompts weekly. Once you're done with the prompt, you send me the image, and then next week it starts again. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me. I'm hoping some of my Shabazz students who love to make art will want to participate. This is going to be on your transcript as like a 7th period, so it's not a period if we go back to school we'll ever meet as a group. It's just sort of something on the side that allows us to make art for credit. That's kind of a workaround. So email me if you have any questions, and I hope to see some of the work you produce. What I wanted to do briefly was just describe how this is going to work, kind of the schedule, what I'll be looking for and assessing in order for you to actually earn credit through art making. How it's going to work is on Mondays, either me or my student teacher Amanda will be posting a prompt. This might remind you quite a bit of Inktober, if anyone participates in Inktober. It's going to be a very open-ended prompt. It's usually going to be a single word, or it could be a very simple phrase. And during the week, once you get that prompt, your job is to generate a work of art using really any material you have available. It could be, if you have sculptural stuff, you build a sculpture. If you have drawing, it could be some sort of nicely finished sketch. If you have markers, it could be a really colorful piece. If you have paint, it could be painting. If you only have a computer and you want to do, say, poetry, potentially, it could be something like that. But just responding in a creative way to the prompt. On Friday, you need to share it with me. There will be a presentation on Google Classroom that you can use to insert it into your presentation so that you'll have all the prompts in one spot. If you cannot figure out how to make that technology work, worst case scenario, you would just email it to me directly, and then I would be able to assess it. You can see that what I'm looking for is sort of a 3-point system. One is that you're creating an original work of art, so it's not just a copy of someone else's work, it's your original response. It somehow relates to the prompt in a creative way. If it isn't super clear, I might email you, but I should see some sort of connection between the prompt and what you generate. And just that it feels finished. If it's a really rough sketch, usually I want you to push that a little bit to make it look more finished. Could be just you add shading, or maybe you use pen to pen it. But it shouldn't be a rough sketch. It should be much more of a complete work of art. It can still be a drawing though. So if you choose to do drawing, it just needs to have some shading and finishing details. So that's a 3-point system on Infinite Campus. I'll be posting weekly, and you can get out of 3 points. You could get 2 out of 3, 1 out of 3, just depending on how you score on each prompt. The goal is to earn credit. You need to average a 60% on Infinite Campus. So what that does mean is you probably can miss at least one prompt and still pass. The goal would be to do all the prompts, but if you fall a little bit behind and you have to miss one for a week, you still would pass, but you have to average a 60%. And that is about it. If this sounds like something that interests you, if you know you have art materials at home, you do want to make art this quarter, this is a way to do it. You can see the Google Classroom code is XORRZ35. So if you're interested, join the Google Classroom. After a week, I'll see who's in there, and I will share that with Hannah so she can code it on your transcript as an elective credit. It'll show up as an independent elective credit. And if you have any questions, of course, email me directly. I'm happy to help with any questions.